Hello and welcome. It's Monday evening. You know that because there is no smile on your face. It's been that kind of day. But we're here now to put the smile on your face because it's about cricket. We're going to be talking about cricket, celebrating cricket. And I'll give you a little bit of a clue. We might also be talking a little bit about football. What you talking about? I'll tell you in a second. It's Chennai playing Rajasthan today, which is match 12 happening in Mumbai. You are tuned into Cricbuzz Live in association with our fantasy partner, My 11 Circle. I'm Gaurav Kapur. With me from the UK, Michael Vaughan. Hello, Michael. How are you?
Afternoon. How are we all?
Very well, thank you. And from UG, that's the United States of Gurgaon, Joy Bhattacharjya. Hello. Hello, sir. How are you?
Yeah, I'm from the United States of Gurgaon. We've just declared independence.
Have you?
Yeah. And we've claimed Virat Kohli as our captain because he's got a house in Gurgaon. So, yeah.
See, it's a state with a captain. I like that. Is he the captain of the state or just the cricket team?
He can be both as far as we're concerned.
He's just the captain of the state now. All right, decided. That's it. All right, well, that's the big news for today. No, we've got more big news for today. We've actually got some big news on football. I just want to ask Michael. Michael, is there still football?
Well, it certainly has been the talking point here in the UK in the last 24 hours. The Super League, the Big Six, the greedy. That's what it's been called over here. And I'm completely behind those that are saying that. You've got 6 clubs, of which 3 are quite big. 3 are very, very big.
Can you tell people which 6 these are?
You go Arsenal, not a big club, but somehow they're in the Super League. Tottenham, nowhere near a big club, but somehow they're in the Super League. You got Chelsea, who are owned by a Russian billionaire. Then you've got Man City, owned by the Arabs of Abu Dhabi, and then you've got Manchester United and Liverpool. And those two really are the two that everyone in this country is looking towards because they've been almost like the custodians of our game for many, many years. The history and heritage of Old Trafford, Anfield, you'll never walk alone. Then all of a sudden, foreign ownership have come in, and it's all about the money. They're no longer football clubs, and I think that's hard for fans to take that. For years and years, when the Glazers bought into Manchester United changed from being a football club to a football business. And that's exactly what these greedy foreign owners are trying to do. They're trying to drive their dollar signs up for their shareholders, their investors. They want guaranteed income every annum. They want to take away the competition in terms of what you are playing for in the Premier League to try and get in the Champions League. They want guaranteed income from the Super League every year. No promotion, no relegation. Do you know where that happens? In America. How many of the clubs are owned by Americans? Pretty much all of them. It stinks, really. The fans in this country are absolutely disgusted by the greed and the ripping up of the heritage and history of this great game of football in the UK. So it's a watch this space. Whether it'll happen is the talk. Yeah. The messages today and the emails that have been sent out and the statements on the TV suggest that it's already done. It's going to happen. The only way it doesn't happen is if the fans do the talking.
But they will.
By doing the talking, they must refuse now to buy season tickets, buy merchandise. They should completely nullify these 6 clubs. And what the Premier League should do, they should take away points now, take away points from this season from all 6, fine them hugely, absolutely hugely, and then just see how they deal with that.
Yeah, and as a Liverpool fan, I don't mind if they take points away this season because we don't have any anyway. It's all right. Take it. Punish. It's about the owners. See, it's not about the thing is, it's not about the players, it's not about the management, it's not about the fan, it's about the owners. And Joy, I mean, people and cricket fans who are watching this could well be thinking and comparing this to, hey, is the IPL not the same or is the 100 not the same? But it's not the same at all.
No, it's not the same at all. And I think the problem is that they have built these are all organic clubs. Even the Premier League, what has happened? It's years and years of competition. Finally, you created a top level. And you know how the Premier League actually works. They have 20 clubs out there. When a club, they're all shareholders. Now, when a club gets relegated, the other club who comes up takes their share. There's a formal handover of shares. So, what happens is the poor can get richer. You can go down to the 2nd division, you can go down to the 3rd division, you can come right back up to the Premier League. It's happened. Teams have done stuff like that. Now, what they're trying to say is that, that doesn't suit us because that means if my team is relegated, that means my income is not guaranteed. But sport is not meant to be guaranteed. And fans I think the big story is going to be there's a Euro around the corner.
Okay. Yeah.
What happens if this happens now? And I think UEFA is going to go with FIFA and turn and said, okay, great, fantastic. None of you guys are playing. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a footballer and you're 35 years old, and you're saying, you know what? This is, or even 32 years old, saying, okay, there's a Euro and a World Cup. This is my chance to play international football. This is my dream. This is why I started playing football.
True.
I'm going to give up that dream only for money. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
The difference in cricket and football is when the IPL was created and T20 was created, it was created because cricket needed it.
Yeah.
Cricket needed that short
new format, new fans, correct?
It needed it. New fans, new glamour, razzmatazz, you name it. The IPL brought it better than any other leagues around the world. And other teams, other countries have followed and produced very popular league, Pakistan Super League, Big Bash, Caribbean Premier League. In the UK, I can understand cricket fans here. So I know it's the same as the 100 being devised away from the 18-county Vitality Blast. The only difference is that cricket needs a little bit more fortune. You know, it does need a little bit more. And the 100 has brought in a little bit more fortune. All right, it's not been a success yet. I think it will be. Many think it won't. But let's wait and see whether it will be. But cricket needed that moment. And particularly here, we needed a moment to try and galvanise a new set of fans. And I think this is the frustrating thing with the Super League is football has all the fans. It has a huge amount of wealth already. That wealth is pretty much not, well, they'll say it's spread through the pyramid of the game right down to the grassroots. It is, and it has done some good stuff, but it could do so much more. And I think that's the real fear and the threat of the Super League. And they'll say that they're going to drip feed the money right back down and help the local communities. But with the foreign owners, you have to have that element of doubt that it's just going to go straight into their pockets. And I think that's the real fear for the Super League in this country.
If I was to just round up this conversation and just to compare it for cricket fans, this would be equivalent of, well, you have 8 teams in the IPL and they have to battle and 4 of them make it to the playoffs. It's almost like if at that every year we'll play our own league and we're just going to play the finals. So we're guaranteed to play the finals. We're not going to play with anybody else. We're just going to play the finals ourselves. Can you imagine what would happen? So if I was to just multiply that by many more clubs and many more and a bigger league and a few more leagues, I guess that's what the basic human emotion of it is. Well, I mean, you could look at us and say, hey, you said it's Cricbuzz Live. Why are we talking about football? But effectively, we're a giant community of sports fans. And were we really talking about football or even cricket? I think we were talking about a human story. We're talking about fans. We're talking about greed. And that's something that is common across cultures, across caste, creed, sport, everything. So that's what we were talking about. Well, today, let's talk about the colors of perhaps the pitch, the color of the toss, the color of the team jerseys, because you have 2 teams that are playing who are actually on a high, past their previous test joy with flying colors, did Chennai, right? They gave a right proper thrashing to Punjab. And Rajasthan with that little heist in the end from Chris Morris, David Miller, of course, there as well, and getting that win from Delhi, much fancied Delhi. But here's Chennai's schedule, right? They've won that one game against Punjab, getting them out with close to nothing. And that's what Rajasthan has done as well. They won that against Delhi by 3 wickets. So they won them against strong teams. Well, they're all strong teams, actually. But here you go. So, Joy, you're looking at both these teams and saying, all right, you need all the teams to be doing well. You need this to be, a real kind of carousel kind of league. It's got to just keep kind of going around. But both these teams definitely will be very happy because they showed solid character in their respective previous games.
Yeah, absolutely. And they need to win games because, see, I'll tell you, if you look at it again, we go back to discussing what we did the other day. There are 3 teams right now who are looking as if they don't have very, very big flaws. Okay. And obviously those 3 are, Bangalore, who's heading the table, Delhi, who seems to have a lot of reserve in depth. Delhi can play badly and win. And Mumbai, both Delhi and Mumbai have shown that they have the ability to be really hammered and still come back and win, which means they're strong teams. So now it's these guys, all of them have to look at it and say, you know what, we need to pile up wins against teams like this. The Delhis, the Mumbais will not give us that much. We need to pile up wins, and both of these guys will be hoping. Dhoni is a very canny guy who would be looking at his sheet and saying, okay, Mumbai, if I can pick up a couple more wins in Mumbai, I'll go to Delhi, where Imran Tahir is going to come in and start bowling, and my spin will really start taking effect then. If I can sneak out 2 more victories in Mumbai, I'll win 3 in Delhi, and then I'm sure of a chance. So that's what somebody like a Dhoni does. He looks at it like that. And I think Rajasthan is much more about, okay, you know what, we've got to win, let's get on a roll. Let's try and put in some victories right now.
Rajasthan, that's the thing, right? I mean, with Dhoni, Michael, is what you always see with him is he's got a very sharp eye when it comes to optimization of resources. Joy names Imran Tahir. Remember, they also have a very expensive 9 crore buy called Krishnappa Gautam, the leg spinner previously who has played for Rajasthan before, who is also sitting in their reserves. So he's perhaps looking at Delhi and their games over there and saying, wait a second, I got this guy as well. So just if I don't want to tamper with my four foreigners, I've got this guy I can play in as well. That way, as a captain, geez, he's shrewd when it comes to optimization of resources, right?
Yeah, I mean, and they've got so much power in the batting. They've got such depth with their
11. Till 11.
they all pad up, and any one of them can go in at any stage. It's right, all pad up, and I'll decide upon who goes in next. He'll just be hoping that he can get out of Mumbai still in the competition, because Mumbai is the kind of wicket and the kind of ground that we know the toss has been very important. You hope that you can win half of the tosses, and you potentially should be winning half of your games. If they can arrive in Delhi, just in around that 4th, 5th spot, I think MS Dhoni will be absolutely confident in making sure he makes the qualifiers with those spin options that you've mentioned.
Plenty of spin options for him. I think we last counted there was 9 spin options in that squad. Well, anyway, for Rajasthan, the good news is, I mean, they've had a fair bit of bad news, right, of late. But the good news for them today is that they won the toss. And, of course, in Mumbai, I don't even need to tell you, so I'm not going to tell you what they're doing. Come on. They're all fans. We don't need to tell them what they're doing. What do you win the toss and do in Mumbai? We're not going to tell them. But, Joy, that's half the... Why are we saying that is half the battle won? Why are we saying that the person winning the toss and bowling first is half the battle won?
I think 2 things. One is that Dew has been prominent. And when Dew,
and really,
even top bowlers are finding it difficult to grip onto the ball. It's difficult. It's really, really difficult. The other thing is, whether we like it or not, the international bowlers have not had this much of a run. Dew really puts them off their game.
Yes.
You see, and that's one of the factors that's going to be big problem for them. And the second is that Rajasthan is not a very strong batting order. So they're better off with their batting, playing without worrying about what's happening. They chased well recently, but they're not always good chasers. They don't have the batting depth to be consistent chasers. They want a miracle chase. And look,
in a way, actually, I'm sorry if I could just interrupt. I mean, just like we're talking about Chennai coming in at, with Shardul Thakur and Deepak Chahar coming in at 10 and 11 and batting, we've also got Rajasthan, which has got, perhaps Chris Morris coming in at 8. So that's a decent batting lineup as well. But we'll talk about the batting lineup and the team makeup in just a second. But Michael, I mean, yesterday I thought that we were one step away from the umpire just taking the ball and going, right?
Yeah, that's a real issue in Mumbai, the dew factor. So difficult for those bowlers to keep a grip of the ball. That's why it's such a big toss.
Do you not get it in England at all? In England, do you not have the concept of dew at all in an evening game?
We don't get heat.
Fair enough. Yeah,
we get wet ball, but generally that's from the rain that's falling in the afternoon. No, every now and again, but not as consistent as you see it in India. So it is a tricky one. Chennai are going to have to do it the hard way. Not only is chasing obviously chasing them by the favoured option of winning, Chennai actually setting and trying to defend has been their downfall. There's such a better chasing side. They seem to plan their chase with the bat in hand so much better than when they're trying to set. So I'm intrigued to see how they come out and bat first and try and get that number that they think they can defend. Will they think they're going to need 210, 220, or will they try and settle for that 180 kind of score and then kind of use the MS Dhoni factor in the second part of the game where he'll use his tricks and his mind, and he's just behind the stumps and the batsman will be taking his guard, see MS Dhoni and go, oh, they get a little bit fearful because MS Dhoni's behind there. So I'm very intrigued to see the kind of mentality that they go out and try and bat with. Will they go for the 220 or settle at 170, 180?
I mean, think about it. Yesterday, 195 was not enough, right? But, I mean, that's also the Delhi team. And there was a marauding Shikhar Dhawan, right? A 92 or 49 is very rarely going to end up on the losing side. Rajasthan, well, no surprise, has gone in unchanged. The good thing that has happened for them has been that David Miller in the previous game did get runs. And with Ben Stokes being injured, we spoke about it yesterday, Jos Buttler coming out to open. And I mean, we'll be preaching to the choir because everybody loves that. Jos Buttler definitely, one of the foremost batsmen in the format right now. And as you go down, you have Riyan Parag, good hitter, shown a bit of promise. There's Shivam Dubey as an all-round option, Rahul Tewatia, Chris Morris. And then, of course, Jaydev Unadkat, Joy, who had a good match in the last game. Chetan Sakaria, who did well in the game before. So they've got their... you'll be happy as someone from West Bengal. There's a lot of left in their bowling.
Yeah, 3 left-handed fast bowlers. How often do you see that? But, Jaydev Unadkat and Chetan Sakaria have opened the bowling for Saurashtra all this season with a lot of success. From everything from Ranji Trophy to Mushtaq Ali, they've been bowling together for a long, long time. The thing about it is, I'm really happy that Sakaria has Unadkat at the other end, because Unadkat is a very interesting character. I love him. Very cerebral, very intelligent guy who's seen the best of the IPL and the worst of the IPL. He's gone for 11 crores and he's been hammered as well. So, anyone who's gone through those ups and downs has a little bit more understanding and perspective of life. Sakaria having him at the other end, if he gets hits for a few, and it's going to happen some point at the other, that Jaydev can go and say, you know what, it happens to everybody, calm down, do what they say, do the process, keep going on, and you'll be absolutely fine. I think that is the kind of thing, that Jaydev Unadkat brings. And, one thing, Michael, you must have seen this a lot. Fast bowlers who work in pairs and understand each other tend to feed off one another.
Yeah, and you could say that Rajasthan worked in a trio of left armers in the last game. It was great to see. The left arm angle's always been such a good option in T20 cricket, but 3 left armers that bowled their cutters with so much skill and dip, getting that kind of overspin and the dip, which was bamboozling the batsman. Rajasthan, no surprise at all that they've gone with the same team. I think that's almost like the common trend in this year's IPL, that captains are being so consistent and staying with the same teams on a more consistent basis. So the left armers are the key for me tonight for the Rajasthan Royals.
And of course, if we look at the Chennai team, we're talking about the Chennai team batting deep. They're batting. So they've also had a problem that they haven't had the availability. I don't think they still have the ability of Lungi Ngidi and Jason Behrendorff. That's their 2 real sort of super quick options. So this is what they've gone with. Rituraj Gaikwad and Faf du Plessis opening. Moeen Ali at 3, which has worked for them. Suresh Raina pushed down from his number 3, talismanic number 3 spot. He's come down at 4. Ambati Raidu, MS Dhoni, the captain, who just doesn't need to bat because he's also got Ravindra Jadeja, Sam Curran, Dwayne Bravo at 9. Shardul Thakur, you've seen him batting. And he bats a fair bit. He's an aggressive batsman, Joy. So, MS Dhoni has got this kind of side over here now. I don't think we're going to see him bat too much. Now he can do exactly what he enjoys. He enjoys being wicketkeeper. He enjoys being captain. He enjoys running the game. Those are things that don't require that much hand-eye coordination. And whereas wicket-keeping is concerned, he's a superhuman where wicket-keeping is concerned, right? Let's not even talk about the guy doesn't need to train. I think he could be keeping like this till he's 60. But this is what has happened with the team, right? Now there's options, spin options, quick options, batting options, right, left. It's just everything.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's got everything he needs, and he's exactly, if you know Indian mythology, he's like Krishna in the Mahabharata. I'm going to be the chariot driver. I'm not doing anything. I don't have any army. So, if you remember the bargain, Krishna went on one side and all the Yadav warriors were on the other side. And these guys had a choice. Which one do you want to pick? So Yudhishthir just picked Krishna because this guy, just by thinking, just by being behind the stumps and running this team, gives you so much. And that's the greatest. The only problem they have is, again, I go back to this. They need some batsmen up there in the order who can hit it at 170, 180. Yeah. They're at this point in time, again, a team built for the 210s to 220. 2010 to 2020 kind of team. They have great batsmen at scoring at 135, 140, 145. And they have only one genuine wicket-taking bowler, which is Deepak Chahar with the new ball, can swing it and get that occasion. He's an attacking bowler. The rest will get you wickets when you attack them. Or you're like somebody like a Ravindra Jadeja, where if Jadeja gets a pitch like Delhi, Jadeja can be an attacking bowler. But not in Chennai. In Chennai, he's a defensive bowler who will get wickets because you're trying to attack him. So the problem is lack of attack. That's it.
Let's look at that team again and just see the bowling options. I know they're batting first, but let's just look at the bowling options that we're talking about. Yes, they don't have that, killer pace. They're 140, 145 kind of bowler over there. But in terms of just variety, Michael, you have, Deepak Chahar and Shardul. You've got Dwayne Bravo, who's just the king of death overs, right? Just continues to defy age again. There's Sam Curran, who's, well, the future. What is he, 14? I think he's 14 years old. Yeah, there's him. There's Ravindra Jadeja, and there's Moeen Ali. These are proper 4-over bowlers, right? And then maybe Suresh Raina perhaps to bowl if you need it at all.
Yeah, I mean, they've got plenty there. I think Nagidi will add something different, a bit more pace bounce. But I'd take that attack. You've got left armour who can swing it. You've got Dwayne Bravo that can bowl all the tricks, good at the death. Then you've got the 2 Indian bowlers that can manoeuvre the ball. Saw Chahar in last game how impressive he was. Then you've got a bit of Moeen Ali. You've got Jadeja bowling his left arm spin. So in terms of all the angles and all the kind of differences, I guess a leg spinner would be handy. But we know that Imran Tahir will come in eventually, potentially in Delhi. I think MS Dhoni will be happy. It's just whether they can sustain the level of performances. Can they win batting first? I think that's going to be key for Chennai. We know that they can chase. Can they consistently win batting first? And can they play with so much aggression batting first to try and get that 200 plus score? Because when you've got a batting lineup that's so deep, you can go so hard. You can go so hard at the top, knowing that you've got so many players that can get you out of a tricky hole. We know now that Punjab can't go so hard at the top because they don't have enough depth. Whereas Chennai certainly can go hard at the top because they have got depth. If they lost 3 or 4 early wickets, I still think they've got enough in the tank to be able to get to that decent score.
Yeah. That's, of course, Chennai, which is batting first in this. And this is Mumbai. They're playing in Mumbai. Mumbai is, of course, seeing the 220 score. They saw 195 yesterday. They had a bit of a hiccup in the middle where they were giving us 140, 150 kind of scores. And you were looking and going, are you still in Mumbai or are you in Chennai? What happened? But anyway, normal service has resumed in Mumbai as of last night. So they're probably going to have they're going to have to look at 200 and say that is realistic because Rajasthan does bat till 8. All right, we've got your team that you can make, and we're going to quickly tell you how you can make that on my11circle.com. Download the app and, of course, pick 11 players as a mix and match from Mumbai and Rajasthan and turn 1 into 1 crore. Talk about the multiplier effect. This can happen in every game, and we're going to help you a bit by giving you our smart picks. We've got 3 players who we think should definitely be part of your 11. Jos Buttler, Suresh Raina, Chris Morris. So don't think this needs to be explained, but we'll do it anyway. Jos Buttler does well against Chennai, has historically done well. We'll just pull up some numbers and show you what Jos Buttler can do against Chennai. Come on, there it is. 5 innings, 216 runs. He's got a good strike rate. He's got a solid average. We always talk about the Basra. This is a 225 almost. You got to pick him in your team for sure. And we're really, again, like we didn't speak about Virat Kohli too much yesterday, we're not going to do that about Jos Buttler as well, because if you're not picking him in your team, with him being the opening batsman in Mumbai, what is wrong with you? Yeah, what is wrong with you? You got to do it. All right, let's have a look at the next player that we've got picked up. Who is it? Suresh Raina? Let's see Suresh Raina. Why is Suresh Raina on our list? Here's the reason why. Suresh Raina, again, when you talk about Wankhede and you talk about tournament history, played 18 games here, scored over 500 runs. The strike rate is good. The average is good. He likes batting over here. 49 fours, 29 sixes. Joy, he likes it. He likes the Wankhede.
Absolutely. And see, this is the ground where he scored, if I remember right, they were chasing against Punjab and they scored about 107 overs. See, that's exactly what today this Chennai team needs. Chennai needs Raina to bat when he was at his fearsome best. Yeah. When he's really there, that his strike rate can go 180, 200, 220. You need a guy whose heart rate and strike rate can go that high. And that's right now, that's the X factor right now that Chennai is missing. If a Sam Curran or a Moeen Ali or a Suresh Raina, they can go and say that, you know what, we're not going to give you 120s, 130s. One of us is going to give us a 170, 180. This is the pitch for him to do it.
But Moeen can do it fully, Michael. I mean, Moeen completely has the ability to do it. A lot more than Sam Curran. Moeen has the ability to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's Moeen's role in the side, is to get to that kind of level of strike rate. And this kind of wicket suits the way that Moeen plays. He's a good deflector of the ball, but also he's great at striking down the ground. And he's been in good form. He's played nicely so far. It's been a good move. We've spoken about he's found his spiritual home. Well, he's got another opportunity tonight to prove exactly that.
Yeah, and I think he will. I think he will. I know I've been crying myself hoarse in the time that Moeen Ali was in Bangalore, that play him more. And the few times that he played, he just showed what he's made of. Just big fan of the batting style, big fan of the bat swing. Not just because he's a left-hander. Left-handers, I think, have a natural predisposition, right, for a better bat swing. No? There's a right-hander here who disagrees. Well, let's move on to the next one. Chris Morris, our third pick. Chris Morris, of course, well, he swung that bat good and proper in the last game that he played. Of course, that was the siege or the heist against Delhi. But there you go. We're talking about the previous games and what he's done as a bowler against the top order batsmen, the like of Suresh Raina and Faf du Plessis. Joy, I mean, they obviously are banking a lot on Chris Morris. They've shown that the way they ran after him in the auction. Forget the price, forget the price that they paid at the auction. Just how much they wanted him and how much they needed him. How would you like to see him? How would you like to see Chris Morris's role with Rajasthan? New ball and then bat perhaps at 6 or 7? Because he's better than 8 for sure he is.
No, I think he should bat definitely. Again, see, with Chris Morris, again, it's one of those, how many overs are over? Okay. If it's a 15th over is over, even if he's 2 down, I'd send him Chris Morris because he can hit the big one. But and he's a proper batsman. He scores first-class hundreds and all. He's not your, town whacker he's not a one-mode player at all. He can bat. He can bat seriously. I'd say that if it's 15 plus, you bring in Chris Morris. The problem with the ball is that some of their bowlers will find it difficult to bowl with the old ball. So they have to get those out. Chetan Sakaria is a very skilled bowler, but may struggle towards the end. So they're not very sure about him. So they're trying to save up Chris Morris. So they'll give him 1 in the top 6 and they'll give him 2 in the end. I think that if he's their strike bowler, if he's the guy that they're really depending on, I'd like to see 2 up front. 2 up front and maybe 2 at the end.
Yeah, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like they want to be giving him. I don't know. What do you see Chris Morris's role ideally in Rajasthan?
Well, it depends on the opposition, but I personally would like to see him attacking those first 2 overs, get at least 1 over, see how it goes. I think he's that kind of player. I mean, I'm intrigued to see the confidence levels of which he performs tonight on the back of getting his team over the line from a losing situation, particularly with the bat in hand. I think that's what we've all been waiting for with Chris Morris. We know that he's a destructive bowler, has been for quite a few years, but with the bat, I've always felt he's disappointed because he's made poor decisions, played the wrong options. Well, he's got the Royals over the line from a position of losing against Delhi. And I like all-rounders when they suddenly get a bit of confidence and they get on a roll. You can see all-rounders just go boom, 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 boom and have 3 or 4 games where they just win their franchises game after game. So I think this is a big night again for Chris Morris. Not putting anything on the mockers of what he did in the last game because that was terrific. But when you've paid that amount of money, you expect, and he should be so full of confidence that he should expect from himself again tonight to be that star performer.
Yes, I mean, Chris Morris definitely, for all the people, saw him do this in Delhi, right? There was a big Delhi innings that he played. It was, I think, Joy, 4 or 5 seasons ago, perhaps. Didn't
just
get the team
over the line.
Yeah, just kind of fell short. But after that, you just kept looking at him and saying, was that a flash in the pan? Has he got that in him? Can we see some more of that? And we saw a bit of that the other day. But Michael's so right. He has kind of been a underperformer and underachiever when it comes with the bat. Can that be the turning point for him? And if that turning point has come so early in the tournament for Chris Morris, then for Rajasthan, it is going to be very, very happy news. In fact, and happy news that they need, considering that Ben Stokes is out of the tournament. And we still don't know when Jofra Archer will be available. They had said the first 4 games, I thought they had said. But, I guess we'll see when we see. Michael, we had one little exercise for you with the England players, because there's quite a few England players who are who we've seen, and obviously the ones who are up there, we've got a few up today as well. This is how the England players have done so far. Would you like to give them a bit of a rating? Who has perhaps impressed you the most out of all of them? Maybe we'll just do that.
Well, you're after me giving them like an early kind of term report, aren't you? We're so early into this year's IPL. Just below the top.
Semester. It's a half semester report.
Yeah, half term. 25 and 2 for Jos Buttler. If you can keep those numbers up so I can talk you through the numbers, that would be lovely. 25 and 2 for Jos Buttler. It's not enough. So I'm giving Jos a 4 out of 10. He's still a great team player, team man. So 4 out of 10 for Josh Butler, Moeen Ali, he's been tremendous, 36 and a 46. Nice at 1 for 17 from 3 in the last game. So I'm giving Moeen 7.5 out of 10. He's been excellent. Sam Curran the same, 7.5 out of 10. He's been consistent across the 2 games. Tom Curran, I'm afraid, not had a great time of it. He got like 21 runs, which was quite nice, but with the ball, not great. I'm giving Tom a 4. Chris Wokes, 8. I think he's been outstanding. Johnny Bairstow, 7.5. And Owen Morgan, unfortunately, I'm giving a 3 because I expected a bit more. I thought he'd get a few more runs. He's not quite found the form with the bat. And I thought in the last game, his matchups didn't quite work. So unfortunately for Owen, he'll come back. He'll get that rating higher and higher, I'm sure, as the tournament progresses. But at the minute, he's at the bottom of the pack. So I expect so much. He's the World Cup winning captain. I expected a little bit more.
And now what we'll do is, Joy, I want you to rate Michael's rating of the England players.
Have I got them all wrong?
This is, in fact, America has this really popular website where they say, rate your teachers. And, they have all over the place. And it's a thing that every university teacher is most scared of. My sister teaches out there. And she said, oh, God, I was good on rating my teachers again. And I said, wow. I said, this is terrific. I mean, that kind of a feedback system. In India, our professors just didn't care what we In fact, most of them didn't even know I exist because I was in class. So it was a different matter.
Correct. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I studied economics, of course, and there was one time when I felt I had this crisis of conscience where I said I'd just not been to class enough and I must go. And I was already working as a radio jockey. I went into class and looked at my professor, and my professor said, oh, Mr. Kapur has joined us today. Everybody, please give an applause. They actually gave me an applause, and I was so shameless that I waved back at them. I refused to acknowledge the sarcasm, and I just decided to wave back because, hey, you know what? Just be like that. So you're talking about not being in class?
Yeah, and I have to say this, exactly the same thing happened to me. Exactly the same thing. I walked in, they gave me a standing ovation, but the teacher ordered me out after that. He says, since you've not bothered to attend so far, why don't you leave the session at this point?
My crisis of conscience at the end of the year was, I said, I've just not been to class at all. I must approach my professor and at least, just try to get in the good books and say, can you just tell me what I should study? So I walked up into the staff room and I found my professor there and I said, I'm really sorry. I've been working. I also have a job and, it's very difficult. And if you could just tell me, what I should brush up on and what I should do. The professor looks at me, shuts the book and says, who's your professor? You? No. Sorry, I'll be leaving now. Yes. I had made an impassioned plea to someone who was not my professor. So I just gave up after that. I thought, academics not for me. And for people who are watching, organized academics, walk out on it. Come on, I'm just kidding. Don't let your parents know that I said that. All right, we have Jaydev Unadkat, of course, who picked up 3 wickets in the previous game. Deepak Chahar, who destroyed Punjab in the previous game. If we were just talking about just these 2 bowlers and what impressed you, I'm very tempted to ask Michael who impressed you more since he is in teacher mode right now. So let me just ask him, who impressed you? Come on.
I can't give you an answer. I'm going completely. The first probably time in my life I'm going to sit on the fence and say both were equally as fantastic.
Ooh.
From the Unadkat was tremendous. They're the 4 overs. You're looking at Chahar on the left, 1 for 2 in the first, got hit in the second. So actually, I'm going to come off my fence and say Chahar because when you've been hit for 10, he's bounced back and then got 2 for 1 in his third and 1 for a wicket maiden in his fourth. So just Chahar, he delivered the best spell.
Yeah. There you go. Where we have an answer. There you go. Yeah. It was easy, for Unadkat. It was just easy. There was no, every great film, Joy, there's got to be some adversity that your hero has to overcome, right? Deepak Chahar overcame the second over. For Jaydev Unadkat, it was just smooth sailing. It was like one of those, happy Amol Palekar films from the 70s. There's just no conflict.
Yeah, I want to tell you something about Jaydev Unadkat because you're talking like that. Exactly. Think of this guy. 2010. He goes in January 2010, plays an Under-19 World Cup in New Zealand, does well. Somebody recommends him to the Kolkata Knight Riders camp. He comes out there. Meets a certain Wasim Akram, who knows a little bit about left-arm bowling. Wasim Akram puts an arm around his shoulder and says, son, you could try this or that. He plays a match. Okay, first match that he plays, he bowls a rank bat delivery The guy hits a terrific square cut, and the guy at point takes a catch that 1 in 100 times that catch is taken. He gets confidence, takes 3 wickets, gets man of the match. Within 8 months, he's playing for India in South Africa at a time that he's not ready. From being an under-19 bowler to not even being in the KKR team to being an India bowler. And that is the only test he plays for England. That test goes badly because, he's just not prepared to be a fast bowler. He hasn't had that much time in first-class cricket. And then for the next now 9-10 years, it's been a struggle going back to domestic cricket. Every year, Jayadev Untitled comes and gives you 62 wickets, 63 wickets. He does amazingly. And he puts in these hard yards every year. So it's for him, it's such a bizarre journey that he's the one guy. It's like, he's like in gymnastics, you're Nadia Comaneci. When you're 14, you're a multiple gold medalist when you're 14. What do you do when you're 18?
Yeah, true. Michael, now that you've heard the life story, does it make you feel bad? Do you want to change your view now? Do you want to just look at the journey he's had for 10? You just looked at 4 overs and you judged him.
Look, I've got to take out the emotional kind of stories. I'm just looking at it purely as a 4-over spell in an IPL game. I don't care about the history. I'm just thinking about 4 overs.
Harsh, just so harsh. Sitting there in the UK smoking his pen and just passing judgment on everyone like this. There you go. I have to tell you though, that was very evil. You put the picture of your Sunday roast dinner up and it made me attack the fridge at midnight, and I'm going to regret that for the rest of the week. I'm going to live in shame. But anyway, it's time to make all of you live in shame and make all of you live in regret, because you're going to get the joy factor question now. You're going to read it and you're going to go, geez, I'm stupid. Just like I feel every time I see that question. Go ahead, Joy. Make us feel stupid.
Okay, no, not at all. Which domestic record lasted for almost 3 years before being broken in 2010 and is currently held by a player from the same state as the guy who made the original record?
I'm going out on a limb here and saying it's got something to do with Jayadev Untitled.
No.
and Chetan Sakaria. Come on.
Short answer, no.
No, geez. I'm out of guesses. Michael, you have no idea what's going on, right? You're just
David
Miller. Have you just randomly said David Miller?
I'm just thinking of a bit of playing. I'm just going to... No, I have no idea.
This is not 20 questions. You just say the name of a person. You just randomly. David Miller. Idi Amin. No, I don't. Since we're taking names. #Cricbuzz Live. You can tweet your answers onto that. It's not an easy one, but hey, you'll try. I'm sure you'll manage. We've got Chennai batting first, of course, because Rajasthan has put them into bat in Mumbai, which is no surprise at all. And I'm going to quickly refresh the team for you, the Chennai team real quick, so that you know that they've got solid batting here, which means that they really should be going for a 200 score, considering 195 was not enough yesterday when Delhi was chasing. So there you go. That's the team. They are going to be batting first. Gentlemen, do you have a guess of what the score is going to be? And while they're guessing, we'll also show you the Rajasthan bowling real quick so you know what they're up against before we go. So gentlemen, what are your guesses? Joy, what are you going with?
Okay, I'm going to go with a bit lower because apparently Ian Bishop says that this is that 147 pitch and there's a little bit of swing in seam. So they will get a bit of movement up front. And if there are wickets, I'll say about 167. 167 I like.
167. Michael, he's done a bit of this right now, Joy, by telling us it's the different track.
Well, this is tough. This is a tough guess because it is a very, very big guess. I'm going to go a bit higher. I'm going to say they're going to get the pitch a bit. I'm going to go 178.
178. All right, so then I'll go... Geez, this new information you've given is completely short-circuited my hard drive, right? My processor's going... I want to go 188. My instinct is telling me go 188, but information is telling me to go 155. Instinct over information. Or is it information over instinct? Short circuit. 188. I'm going with 188. All right. That's it. Go big or go home. 188, 178, 168. 168. We should know. Okay. 167. Done. What are your guesses? #Cricbuzz Live. Let us know as well. Before we go, I want to tell you, if you want to go above the noise, Cricbuzz Plus is how you do it. You can subscribe, you can sign up, do it. We've done it as well. All the premium content when it comes to the written word, when it comes to video, it's about cricket. I know we started the show with football, but can we put a football article in there as well about the Super League? Come on. Wilson is saying he'll get it done. All right. Big thank you to Michael Vaughan and Joy Bhattacharjya. Thank you so much for joining us, gentlemen. We, of course, will be here with you with a mid-inning update. That's Cricbuzz Combox at the end of the 10th over of the Chennai batting effort. I'm Gaurav Kapur. You were watching Cricbuzz Live in association with our fantasy partner, My 11 Circle.